This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Developing story from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Timberwolves franchise cornerstone Anthony Edwards agreed to a 5-year designated rookie max deal. Could be worth up to $260 million. When it comes to Damian Lillard's trade request, Trailblazers have made it clear they are open for business everywhere in the NBA. According to Woj, they'll work to find the best deal they can, a combination of young players, draft picks, salary cap relief in exchange for a star like Lillard, who reportedly prefers to go to Miami. Two-time NBA champion Norris Cole.
If he was to land in Miami with Jimmy Butler's leadership, I think he can bring some relief to Jimmy and for Bam with some shot creation. You know, they run a lot of dribble handoffs because they don't really have anybody that can, get downhill and create a trigger without a pick. And Damian Lillard can definitely do that.
Norris Cole on ESPN Radio in the morning. 2 PGA Tour officials have agreed to testify before a U.S. panel next week about the union with Saudi-backed Live Golf, but Live officials have declined to appear in that meeting, according to U.S. lawmakers.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. Hey. Welcome back, Muse. You should have taken another day of vacation. What are you doing?
That was my bad.
What are you doing?
That was my bad.
You could have had,
Yeah.
What are we doing?
That was my bad. I didn't think about it.
You're here. You're going to be gone tomorrow. All right. I am Mr. Toby Thompson. Thank you. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Happy 3rd, everybody. A happy 4th tomorrow. We'll get there. Pushing off from the dock here, and I'm fired up to do this. I knew at some point we'd be able to grab a hold of Jay Johnson for a couple of minutes. He's kind enough to join us as we start the show today. Coach, let me be the latest to wish you congratulations on the national championship a week later. Have your feet touched the ground yet?
Thank you, first of all. And it's as awesome as everybody thinks that it is. And there's just a process to college baseball now that you got to get moving. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind. And I had so much fun in Omaha. I'd like to do it again. So we just chose to dive right back into it.
I knew at some point in your career at LSU, I would have you on after you won a national championship. And I've always known what my first question to you would be. And you said in so many different formats and places a year ago that the only thing you know how to do when a season ends is to get started on the next year. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what you've said. And even last year in Hattiesburg is when you just went to your hotel room and opened up the portal and you saw Paul Skeens was in, and that's how that process began. So I'm dying to know, for the first time, you ended your season with a win. So what did you do? What did you do when you got back to your room?
Yeah, and that was a night you didn't want to end, to be honest with you. We went back to the hotel, and I grabbed the team for 5 minutes. After we walked through the great showing of LSU fans in the lobby, we went up to our meeting room and just got a chance to talk for 5 to 10 minutes. I wanted to make sure we wrapped that up and they understood what they had just accomplished. And so we did that, and then the rest of it was, a lot of taking pictures, a lot of smiles, all of those types of things. Went to bed at about 4:30 in the morning, and then I only slept for about 2 hours, and I got up, got a coffee, and I actually walked back over to the ballpark and snuck in like a trespasser, and then just sat in the dugout for about a half an hour just to kind of reflect on what had happened. And so thankful for our team, and then the celebration on Wednesday night was phenomenal. I can't thank our fans enough. We felt like the Chicago Bulls in the 90s, honestly, with that celebration. It was awesome. And then have some staff turnover and stuff that I got to get cracking on and some recruiting things. So been doing a little bit of that over the past few days, and but taking the time to enjoy what we accomplished, because what this team accomplished was really special.
I do want to ask about some of those things you mentioned. We'll get to that, but I am also curious. Anytime there's a championship, you always hear from people, right? Past coaches, players, mentors. Who's reached out that's maybe touched you or been impactful to you that you've heard from?
There were so many. Like, I'm still trying to get back to everybody. But I'll tell you, like, and this may surprise people, like, the ones that have meant the most to me are honestly the other coaches in the SEC that know exactly how hard it is to do what we just accomplished. Some of them have won it. Some of them have come close to winning it. And just the respect level, from them to reach out and say congratulations. I know that may sound weird, but those are the ones that have been the most meaningful to me.
Yeah, Jay, there's a great story. When Paul Mederi won the title in '09, you probably know this, but Augie Garrido wrote him a handwritten letter congratulating him. Well, when Kevin O'Sullivan and Florida beat LSU in 2017, Mederi returned the favor and wrote a handwritten letter to Kevin O'Sullivan congratulating him. So I believe there is that sort of kinship among coaches where you do understand how hard it would be to do that. So that's not surprising that some of the coaches in the league would reach out. But you're also trying to beat them all now and beat them again. So, a year ago, your challenge was very obvious. You had to go find starting pitching. I mean, you've said that so many times, and you did. How does this offseason either compare or contrast to what it was like a year ago?
Yeah, I think it's been similar in some ways, different in others. I think, and I'm not patting myself or us on the back for this, I think we understood the importance of the transfer portal maybe a little quicker than some teams. And I would say it even goes back a year before when I came here. I feel like had we not brought Jacob Berry and Tyler McManus and Eric Reiselman and those guys, I don't know that we wouldn't have finished in last place in 2022, to be honest with you, in the SEC. So that was kind of my, testing point of, this is going to be a big deal. And then, we obviously struck gold with, Paul and Thatcher and Tommy, and even Christian Little and Ben Napolt made good contributions to this team. So we're back on that. There's different things that we need, this time around. I really like, outside of, losing Paul and Ty, obviously, I like the starting point of this pitching staff much better, especially with the experience those guys got in Omaha and winning a national championship. We have really good young players in the program where it's going to be their time now. And so the needs are a little bit more specific. And at the same time, we're going at them full speed ahead to try to get back on track and be ready for game one next year.
Jay Johnson, good enough to give us a couple of minutes here today. Does your conversation on the recruiting trail, does your pitch change at all now that you have won a championship?
I don't know. I think I still believe this, and it's going to maybe upset people to hear it. Like, the young player, they want to play in the major leagues. Like, that is number one on their mind. And so they want to know that they're going to have a coaching staff that's going to help develop them to become major league players. If you watch this play, though, in Omaha and saw the brand of baseball that was played, the fun that our guys have competing together, the pride that they take in playing for LSU and our university, there's no way you don't want to be a part of that. Right. And I think it's unique and it's special. I think, and I've said this before, what Coach Burtman did here is he elevated baseball in the Southeastern Conference for everybody. So the only difference now is there's a few places that you can do that, but there's still only one original. I believe LSU is the original. So we're going to keep trying to use that to our advantage.
Maybe the coolest picture I saw from Omaha was you and Skip in the locker room with your arms around each other. There's a great picture also of you, Skip, and Paul all in the dugout, the three of you together, the three coaches have won a national championship. You've talked about this so much, but can I just get a reflection on that, on what it's meant to have won the title with both of those men there?
Yeah, really special. I think they didn't really know me or know who I was too well before coming here, but I had looked at them, I'd studied them. I mean, it's fun listening to some of Coach Burtman's stories because I paid so much attention to him. I already knew the end of the story before he would tell it sometimes, but to spend 3 or 4 days a week with him on the phone or in person is literally something I can never, ever put a price on or quantify how important that's been to me. And then with Coach Maneri, he really deserves a lot of credit because when I came in here, his willingness to help transition this thing for me that's the model. Like, that's what a retiring coach, not all of them do it that way, but he wrote the book on how you should do that. And that's something I'll forever be grateful for. So to get to smile with those guys, hug with those guys, be a part of it now here makes me really proud. And the coolest part of this job for me still, even after winning the national championship, is the relationship that I get to have with both of them.
Coach, before you go, I do want to ask about Nate Yeske and about Josh Simpson. Could you just clarify a timeline piece as well? Because I was looking it up today, and I'm pretty sure that you two, I think most know, were at Arizona together. And I think like it was a day apart where he took the A&M job and you took the LSU job. So was there ever conversation with him coming with you to LSU, and how did this sort of materialize now?
Man, I've been waiting like 2 years to talk about this. So you're getting this first. Timing was the only thing that screwed it up beforehand. And we were in Omaha. Texas A&M had hired Coach Schlossnagel before LSU had hired me. And so he had reached out to Nate and was talking to Nate, and they were well down the road prior to me being named. And this was like, with me, this all happened very fast and very quickly. And it was just, frankly, I was a day too late of being named. Nobody's fault. We were in the College World Series. And so I had already known he was going to College Station the day before to meet with him. And so as soon as I was hired or it was announced, I picked up the phone and called him. And frankly, it was too late. And then they had gotten off to a good start at Texas A&M, so it just didn't feel right last year. But, we were probably a day away from him being here from the outset. So I'm really happy to have him now.
I bet you are. I was wondering, looking at that timeline, it was curious. All right, last thing, I would like a thought, if you don't mind, on Josh Simpson going with Wes Johnson. My assumption there, Coach, is that he's just going to be one of the 3 full-time on-field assistants, so it's kind of a promotion for him. But a thought there, and then what you do to replace him?
Yeah, so that's exactly right. Josh did a great job as our director of operations. He fulfilled a number of roles for us and did a great job for us. He's going to be Wes's number 2 assistant. So it's a promotion in salary. I did try to keep him in a different position, but this is good for him and his family. And I like to see it when people that do a good job get rewarded. And we would have liked to keep him, but we're going to be just fine. And we're actually adding a staff position here, which was well in the works before winning a national championship. So we're actually in the process of making a couple hires that I think people will be very excited about the direction we're headed.
Awesome. Coach, your time's always appreciated. I know you've given so much of your time to not just me, but like all of our shows here. So sincerely, gratitude from all of us for your willingness to come on and give your time. And congrats again. Thank you so much for always picking up the phone.
You got it. See you soon.
All right, be well. That is national championship winning coach Jay Johnson. We appreciate him for a couple of minutes with us here as we start the show. And by the way, he is on the road recruiting right now. When I was talking to Bill Franquez earlier today about setting up Jay coming on, he's probably like at a ball field or in his car ready to go see the next prospect or at someone's house. That's like literally what he's doing right now. So for him to take 10 minutes here, 13 minutes to talk, I appreciate it. So a lot of good stuff there, and I'm glad to hear the Yeske information. We'll react to some of that. A lot to get to today. As a matter of fact, Riley Cooper is going to be with us in hour 3, so I'm excited to have that conversation as well. Talk to him about his future. He's a guy who, with the draft, what was it, 6 days away from the draft, has can have a real decision to make. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back. Jaden Daniels laid out some personal goals for this year, and I actually want to look at how materially he can achieve them. We'll get to that. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Y'all, a couple of things. First and foremost, that awful hail in West Baton Rouge, Bruley Addis, a couple of weeks ago. A lot of homeowners now are getting their scopes of work. The insurance adjuster has been out. You've got your paperwork. A lot of you even have your check from your insurance company. Hudco's ready to roof. I mean, I think we are on a roof tomorrow. If not tomorrow, for the 4th, on Wednesday, on the 5th. We got shingles, we got crews, we're ready. So if you've got your paperwork, give us a shout. I mean, we can re-roof your home now. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Also, we're seeing so many of our inspectors in Livingston Parish, namely Albany, where they are finding large amounts of hail damage. So if you live there, know someone who does, had hail, think you might have had hail, maybe a neighbor's had their roof inspected, we'd love to come help you out. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Where every inspection, you always get a HUDCO hat. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come home, in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Thanks again to Jay Johnson. Opened the show with us here today. If you missed it, you can always catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com, the 1045 app, 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. Lots of different ways to get it. AFR on demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Good stuff from Coach Jay. We appreciate it. We will talk to Riley Cooper to start hour number 3. I understand he's back home in California. So this is kind of what happens now as the guys, the season ends. It's summer, so they're not in school. A lot of those guys disperse, and they wait for the draft and to see what happens and make their decisions thereafter on what they're going to do. And Riley Cooper's a guy that's going to have a decision. He's a junior who certainly can sign, depending on where he drafts, has the option to come back to school, try to win another one. It's worth noting Nate Yeske, the new pitching coach at LSU, coached Riley Cooper and Bryce Collins at Arizona. So it's a reunion of sorts there. He's got an interesting decision to make. So Riley Cooper in hour number 3. So last weekend, when LSU was still playing in the College World Series, the Manning Passing Academy went down. And Jay Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier were both there. And we did talk a bit about how they performed at the Manning Passing Academy. And talked a little bit about the competition with Jaden and Garrett Nussmeier, and Garrett or Jaden talking about how it's Garrett's time is going to come and he's excited to see him and all. But Jaden talked a lot about himself as well and his development here in the offseason. Can we start with number 2, if we could, Muse? This is Jaden Daniels talking about how this offseason has gone for him.
It was real good, real beneficial, I should say. We gelled more of the offense, the unit. We had so many guys returning another year in the system under Coach Denbrock. So we know what to expect this year. Going through our spring practice, going to summer workouts, winter workouts, really just managing throwing sessions and really just taking charge of the offense and the whole team. Really just going out there and just putting in that work because we know what we want to accomplish at the end of the day.
They know what they want to accomplish. They're putting in the work. A lot of the guys back with Coach Denbrock. A lot of that soil has been tilled. And I know there's a lot of background noise, so my apologies for that, but I think you can still hear and make out what he's saying. But he also was asked how much better he thinks he will be this year, his 5th year in college from last year, his first year in Baton Rouge.
Night and day. I know how the coaches are expecting to call plays. Another year in the system, as far as, just with the group of guys I have around me, with Malik and all them, just more comfortable on the offense and how to operate. I know when Coach Denbrock calls a play, I know why he's calling it. I know where we want to attack. So, those things matter a lot.
You can hear a very confident, very mature player when you listen to Jaden Daniels talk. It's why, and I don't want this to be lost, we throw out a lot of times, well, he's a 5th-year guy, he's a returning guy, he's got experience. Like, that is the manifestation of that experience, what you hear right there. And he's being very detailed. Like, it's not just what he calls. Like, I know why he's calling what he's calling. So much of that is like, it's like a dance partner. And you have to follow someone's lead and trust that they're leading you in the right direction and almost anticipate their move before they make it. And I'm getting to a point here, but just one more from Jaden Daniels when he talked about how much more comfortable he is going into year 2 in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I know how to maneuver, not just within football, but outside. Just living in Louisiana now, knowing my guys, they know me. Like last year when I came in, I was kind of just a new guy. Spring practice was just barely starting. I think it was like a couple days before I came. So I didn't really know the guys. I was just trying to get to learn the playbook, get to learn the guys, the coaches all in one time. So it was pretty fast for me. So really just going out there now, I'm more comfortable. The guys know me. They know who I am as a leader and as a person. So it makes it for a better transition now.
It's very reminiscent of when Joe Burrow came. And I always hesitate to say that because I don't want anybody to think I'm projecting that Jaden Daniels is going to throw for 5,600 yards. Okay, I'm not. But we saw the same thing with Zach Mettenberger as well. Mettenberger was here in 2011. Remember that. Mettenberger was here in 2011 and didn't play. And then, well, I guess he did play at the end of the Ole Miss game when he decided to a little loopity-oop there toward the pylon. But in 2012, it was a struggle for Mettenberger until the end of the season in November, and then he really started to hit his stride, and then he had the blow-up 2013. Same thing for Joe Burrow. Got here in June. He didn't even have spring practice. Remember, he was trying to win a job at Ohio State in June. So then he gets here in spring. Then he gets here in June, goes through summer workouts, and then is in the competition in fall camp. In 2018 was a struggle for Joe Burrow. He went the entire month of October without throwing a touchdown pass. But then when they got at the back end of the 2018 season, after the shutout loss to Alabama, he started playing better. Then you had the 7 overtime win, and then you had the 400-yard game against UCF in the Fiesta Bowl. And that was the springboard to 2019. So all that to say, you look at Jaden Daniels, and a lot of that paths, right, or tracks for Jayden Daniels with how his career has gone so far and how his career started at Arizona State, where he had the really great freshman season, where he threw for 2,900 yards, COVID in 2020, and then 2021 was kind of a mishmash over at Arizona State, where the staff was on the way out. They had a ton of transfers, and it was the 10-touchdown, 10-interception game. And then last year was almost like hitting reset on his career. It was like his freshman season again, for those that don't remember. I mean, Jayden Daniels as a freshman threw for 2,943 yards. First year in Baton Rouge, 2,913 yards. Literally 30 yards difference from his freshman year and his first year at LSU. 17 touchdowns to 2 interceptions as a freshman at Arizona State. 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions his first year at LSU. You see him, like he had a QBR of 149.2 as a freshman, 144.5 last year. I mean, it was almost identical. His freshman year and his first year at LSU. The difference is he wasn't able to build upon that great freshman year because COVID hit. And then they had all the chaos in the Arizona State program. Now, think about that in context of what Jayden Daniels just said, when you heard him say, I'm comfortable, I know the offense, I know what Mike Denbrock is going to call and why he's going to call it, working with all the receivers, timing off. Like, he's poised to build upon that great season, which he wasn't able to do in his freshman year because of COVID. And one of the other things Jayden Daniels said, and I don't have the audio of it, but I'm just going to read, it's a very short quote. He was asked about winning the Heisman. He said, quote, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't on my mind. So, and he did compliment, he said, look, but I can't accomplish that without people around me and all that sort of stuff. For whatever it is worth, and I did go check today over at DraftKings, the 2023 Heisman odds that are out right now, Jayden Daniels has the second best odds behind only Caleb Williams. The reigning Heisman Trophy winner, Caleb Williams, has the best odds to win the Heisman. The second best odds are Jayden Daniels. And I mean, this is, you could look at all of the different betting sites. But DraftKings has Caleb Williams at plus 600, Jayden Daniels, Quinn Ewers, Jordan Travis, all at plus 1,200. And then Michael Penix at plus 1,500. So it's not like if we're sitting here talking about Jayden Daniels as a Heisman candidate, that's some unabashed homerism. Like, that's legitimate. I mean, he has the second best odds going into the season to win the Heisman Trophy. Now, here's what I would tell you, though. If you want something material to mark down as far as Heisman, what it would take. When you look at recent Heisman winners, every quarterback that's won it has thrown for at least 4,000 yards in a season. That would be a really big jump for Jayden Daniels from 2,900 to over 4,000 yards. Now, here are the exceptions. Quarterbacks that did not throw for 4,000 yards that won the Heisman in recent history. Lamar Jackson. He threw for 3,543 yards. What was the difference? Lamar Jackson ran for 1,571 yards. Johnny Manziel threw for 3,700 yards, 3,706. He ran for 1,410 yards. And then Cam Newton in 2010 threw for 2,854 yards. Didn't even get to 3,000, but he ran for 1,473 yards. So there's your ticket for Jayden Daniels. If Jayden Daniels is going to win the Heisman Trophy, he's either got to throw for more than 4,000 yards, or he's got to throw for 3,000, run for 1,000. That's how he can do it. Now, this LSU team in particular, the rushing stat, I think, comes down for Jayden Daniels this year. Last year, when Jayden Daniels led LSU in rushing, a big part of that early in the season was necessity. Your offensive line was a mash unit early. It was a sieve. You had 6 different line combos in your first 8 games. Toward the end of the season, the line steadied. You got more production out of your running game, and you didn't need Daniels to run. Early in the season, that was your best offensive play. Hey, Jayden, Here comes the blitz, tuck it and run. First play of the season. You remember the first play of the season last year? Florida State came on a blitz, Daniels 25 yards around left end. Get a more consistent running game that opens up your passing game even more. Daniels can get those passing numbers. Absolutely, I think he can win the Heisman this year. I absolutely do. I'm not predicting he will, but can he? Are those numbers possible? Absolutely. It's why the odds are what they are. It's going to be a lot of fun either way. All right, it's after further review. Good stuff, that convo with Jaden Daniels. By the way, if you missed it, Brian Kelly gave an interview to Blake Topmeyer, who's part of Gannett, USA Today. And apparently he gave this interview back in June, but it just now published today. And I'm going to talk about that I had it on the rundown in hour number 3, then Riley Cooper confirmed late, but I'm going to get to it coming up because Brian Kelly did lay out what he said is a realistic timeline for this program to win a national championship. He didn't shy away. He laid out his timeline to win the national championship. And we're going to get to that coming up a bit later in the show. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. Come back and go around the SEC. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Of course, wishing you and yours a very happy and safe 4th of July. Gordon's offices will be closed on the 4th of July, as will most businesses. But as we observe our nation's independence, we will be closed. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys will be closed on the 4th of July. So actually, it'll be closed starting at 2:30 today and then all day on the 4th of July. So they're already closed now, and they'll be closed for the remainder of the holiday. But doesn't mean we can't continue celebrating the Natty at Purple and Gold Natty, which the 8,888 rally shots were a big part of that. A lot of requests for the gear, the 8888 gear. So you see Gordon with shirts and hats, all the 8888 shirts and hats. Of course, Gordon went and bought 8,888 Jell-O shots over at Rocco's. And a lot of that gear is still popping off. So if we have more gear and opportunities to get it, we'll let you know. But make sure you follow Gordon on social media at GetGordon. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah.
You don't know what you're doing.
Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. And cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. Where personalities clash and chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like it's Wall Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Hey, since we did have Jay Johnson right at the start of the show, I forgot to do this, so let's do it now.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
I guess I could have done it last segment, but we circle back to it. Muso's back as well. Muse, how are you, man? It's good to see you over there.
I'm good, man. Doing all right.
Heard you puked on vacation.
Oh, did I puke on vacation?
I didn't know weed made you puke.
It didn't. It doesn't, apparently. I don't know. Stomach viruses do, though, Matt, and that happened on the last day of vacation to 4 out of the 5 of the family members that were in the condo that day.
The 4 that ate the Bad Batch?
No. That had nothing to do with
Polly. He knows what's up with it. Ha ha!
But before that, it was a fantastic week.
I'm glad you had some good time away. But you're so stupid for being here today. Why would you do that?
Dude, whenever I first put in the vacation request, I didn't know what we had off for the 4th of July. I had no idea.
Muso, we've literally never worked on the 4th of July.
I didn't say that. I said I didn't know what we had off for the 4th of July. Like, we had Monday and Tuesday, or just Tuesday, or what? That's why. I mean, I didn't.
One day.
Oh, I would have. You can bet if this happens again.
Will it happen again in 7 years?
Yeah.
So 7 years from now.
Mark it down. We're writing that down right now.
You'll still be here producing AFR in 7 years, Muse.
Believe me, if I'd have thought of it beforehand, I would not be here right now.
I was like, that poor guy, why is he here today?
You know what it is? Remember when you'd have to start school on a Friday and then just have the weekend and then you'd come back on Monday and really get the school year started? That's what this is right now.
I never did that.
You never did that?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. We had to do that. Yeah.
That's changed. I mean, school always for me started on a Monday. I never recall ever starting middle or end of a week.
Had a few Fridays in there.
That's weird.
It is terrible. It was absolutely awful.
Now, there was orientation. I remember in high school, you might have an orientation on Thursday or something like that. But that isn't the first day of school. That was just come and take your yearbook photo and your ID photo and get your books or whatever you need, that sort of thing.
It takes an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. All right. Well, it's good to have you back there, Muse. Talk with Muse a bit more as we move throughout the show. Find out about his vacay, how he celebrated LSU ringing in the Natty, all that good stuff. We'll get to it. But, of course, we appreciate our friends over at Mockler Beverage. Bud Light, drink easy in Louisiana here on this 4th of July. If you're going to be celebrating tomorrow like we all are, you can have a few cold pops. Just please drink responsibly, however you're going to be celebrating. Don't need 4th of July accidents, especially, man, if you're out on a boat. First of all, it's illegal to drink and operate a boat, so don't do that. If you're going to be popping fireworks, man, be safe and responsible when you're going to do it. But, of course, always have a great taste of Bud Light in your hand. And please check out the camo bottles. We've been talking about this, but Folds of Honor. This is year 13 of Folds of Honor. And Anheuser-Busch was an inaugural partner of Folds of Honor. You've heard me talk about it. It's a great organization that funds scholarships for the children of our brave men and women who were killed in action. So an amazing organization. If you've never heard the story of Folds of Honor, I would highly recommend look it up. You can find it on YouTube or anywhere. But $21 million. They've raised $21 million for Folds of Honor in 13 years. So when you see the camo bottles, especially on this 4th of July, of Bud Light and Budweiser, pick them up. You know you're supporting Folds of Honor. And there's a QR code. So scan that QR code. You can learn more about Folds of Honor as well. Okay, it's After Further Review. Do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bama football got its second commit in 4 days, their 10th overall for 2024. On a Monday, Jameer Grimsley, a 4-star, chose Alabama over Florida and Michigan. 6'3", 185-pounder. He is the number 19 cornerback in the class.
The Missouri Tigers.
Mizzou landed their highest-ranked commitment so far on Monday. Nicholas Rodriguez, 4-star linebacker from Fort Lauderdale, picked Missouri. The 5th commitment in 4 days, 8th for the 2024 class. His final 6 included LSU, Louisville, Miami, Ohio State, Tennessee, and West Virginia. 6'1", 205-pounder, the number 16 outside linebacker in the country.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Cornerback Taron Nichols, 6 foot, 180-pounder. He committed to Kentucky. Picked the Wildcats over Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State, his other finalists. He's the number 23 cornerback in the country, the number 274 overall prospect, the 12th commit for Kentucky's class.
Texas A&M!
Former UMass big man Wildens Levesque verbally committed to A&M on Monday for basketball. He's a grad transfer, played in 108 games with 52 starts over the last 4 seasons. If the name sounds familiar, he started his career at South Carolina, played 3 seasons there. This past year was at UMass. 6'10", 255-pounder, started 25 games for the Minutemen last year.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Head coach Lamont Paris and his staff landed a commitment from 2023 prospect Austin Hero, the younger brother of Heat guard Tyler Hero. 6'3", 175-pound combo guard. Gamecocks already have 13 scholarships on player for next season, so Hero will be a walk-on.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
And Vandy expected to hire Brad Calipari, the son of Kentucky coach John Calipari. He'll be a player development staff member. Younger Calipari played for Kentucky for 3 seasons, transferred to Detroit Mercy, played his final 2 seasons there, then went back to the Wildcats as a grad assistant for a year, and most recently was a director of player development at Long Island University. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales service after the sale. Hey, look, remember, if you're in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, North Shore, Lafayette, of course, big shout-out and welcome to our friends in the 337 who found us on ESPN's 1037 Lafayette. You got a Gulf Coast Office Products there in the 337 as well. GCOPnet.com. You need office equipment, you need Gulf Coast Office Products. They're the best. GCOPnet.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review, and we are excited to have you aboard with us here. We do, after the top of the hour, I want to get some NFL offseason rankings, which I think does speak to maybe the challenge and also promise for the New Orleans Saints. We're going to get to that, evaluating the entire offseason. We're just about 2 weeks away. Y'all realize that 2 weeks from today, do you realize it's 2 weeks from today, we're at SEC Football Media Days. Man, anyone who ever asks, I will always say, man, if LSU baseball, from a radio standpoint, from a media standpoint, if LSU baseball gets us to the end of June, it's phenomenal. Because basically this week is 4th of July. Then you've got next week. And then we're in Nashville this year for SEC Football Media Days. And that starts talking season. You'll have SEC Football Media Days. All the other conferences follow. Remember, the week after Media Days, Saints rookies report for camp. Then the veterans report for camp. Then it's LSU fall camp. NFL preseason begins. And then it's like every week is another football benchmark leading up to week 0, and then the start of the college season, and then the start of the NFL season. So, y'all, it is upon us. I mean, kick back, enjoy today, enjoy tomorrow at the 4th of July. But, man, 2 weeks from today, we are in Nashville at SEC Football Media Days. I'm pretty fired up for it, you can tell. All right, let me knock out a break. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 1 here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Our friends over at New Orleans Flooring, they're open today, but they're going to be closed tomorrow for the 4th of July. So get on by and see our friends at New Orleans Flooring or online at nolaflooring.com. That's nolaflooring.com. They are discounting flooring. Of course, they got to make room, and they got more inventory arriving. So as we move through the summer months, and you're thinking about doing that home improvement project, maybe you want to add that hardwood, that tile, that laminate, they got you at New Orleans Flooring. Carpet as well. If it's you want to outfit an entire apartment complex or industrial building, or maybe it's a bedroom in your home. Maybe you want to redo the wood floors. New Orleans Flooring can help. Tell you every day. buy where the pros buy. Buy where the pros buy. And there's a reason why all the contractors shop at New Orleans Flooring, because they'll give you the best quality flooring at the cheapest price possible because they cut out the middleman. It's New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Airline Highway in Prairieville. Tell them Matt sent you in to New Orleans Flooring.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. Months after a woman came forward, which led to the arrest of a Baton Rouge police officer, another woman also coming forward alleging something similar happened to her. Instead of getting arrested, he forced the women to engage in sex acts. Tonight, the new allegations are spelled out in a lawsuit filed in federal court. Hear what she has to say. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The best kept secret.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Greg Lehman sent a text. Ask Matt, if the Burrow and Cam Heisman seasons happen in the same year, who do you think wins the Heisman? Hashtag summertime content. So first of all, the hashtag is funny, but I am allergic to the phrase dog days of summer. I can never, ever in my life ever imagine why you would ever tell somebody there's no reason to listen or consume or watch or anything like that. There's always stuff going on, as evidenced by today. I mean, we've already had Jay Johnson on the show. We've got Riley Cooper coming up. The MLB draft is coming up this weekend. We're about to hear something Paul Skeen said on Sunday Night Baseball. That's before we even talk about any of the football stuff. So there's always stuff going on. So don't ever just assume, it's June or it's July now. There's nothing going on. There's always stuff going on. The sports calendar is such that it never stops. Specifically to answer the question, it is a good question, but I would lean Burrow for this reason. When Cam Newton showed up at Auburn, it was a 1-year phenomenon, and he was magnificent, and Cam completely deserved the Heisman, and they went undefeated. And you could say, well, if those two teams played for the national championship, then whoever would have won that game would you award the Heisman beforehand. In theory, then, those two teams would have played in the regular season. It would have been Auburn against LSU, and I would say which team would have won that game. And I would absolutely have bet LSU to have won that game. The thing about that Auburn team is you remember they had two cheat codes. You had Cam Newton on offense. You had Nick Fairley on defense. There was no other player on that Auburn offense that went on to be drafted. It was kind of stunning. So LSU was an NFL team playing college football. I certainly would have bet on LSU to win that game, and so I would have had Burrow win the Heisman. And then the other part of it, too, is just there would have been more awareness, and sometimes that matters. Like if a player has been around longer. I think you could take this year's Golden Spikes as an example. Jimmy and I were talking on we did the pregame show. Jimmy Ott and I did the pregame show for the College World Series on Saturday and Sunday. We came up in studio, and on Sunday we led right up to the Golden Spikes Award, and we were given our opinions. And Jimmy said he thought Skeens would win it. I said I thought Cruz would win it, and there's a couple of reasons why. And one of them, primarily, is Dylan Cruz. First of all, voting ended before the College World Series. So ballots had already been cast before Skeens had his two amazing outings in Omaha, including the Rhett Lauder game. That was one. But two is most people didn't know Paul Skeens until this. Even if you're a college baseball writer in the Big Ten, you probably didn't know. You probably had heard of Paul Skeens, but you didn't know who he was until you saw him on the postseason stage. We all saw Dylan Cruz and knew his name for 3 years. The day he stepped foot on campus, he was a projected number one pick. So I think that was another reason. So specifically to the question, the hypothetical, the fact that Burrow had already been a starter for a year, had been established, had hype. He was at SEC. Remember, Burrow was at SEC football media days in 2019 and said, we're going to score 50 a game, and a lot of people laughed at him. I mean, quite honestly, I probably laughed at him. I don't know that I would have laughed completely, but I don't know that I would have assumed they were going to score 50 a game or whatever he said. So, but that's why. Anyway, long way of answering your question. All right, it's after further review. But if you are hitting the road for the 4th of July, bring that thing to Shaw Bills first. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. If you need your tires rotated, go to Shaw Bills. You need an oil change, go to Shaw Bills. They'll get you up and running for this 4th of July vacation. Maybe you left for the 4th. You come back and you need to get that work done on the vehicle. Shaw Bills certainly can help. Of course, with 18 locations across South Louisiana, started in Morgan City up to Baton Rouge. They got LaPlace, they got Livingston Parish, West Baton Rouge, a couple of locations in Lafayette as well. So shout out to our listeners over in Lafayette as we launched a week ago on ESPN 103.7 in Lafayette. You've got Shaw Bills there in Lafayette on Ambassador Caffrey and in Youngsville as well. So check them out, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. You know what? Actually, I want to do this too before I wrap up the Shaw Bills read, because I tell you all the time about great service. I got, of course, now I'm trying to find it and I can't. I got this message. Here it is. Got it. I got this message from a listener on Saturday. His name is Mark. I won't use his last name. He said, Matt, after hearing you speak countless times about the service at Shaw Bills, I tried them myself, and the service was impeccable. They could not have been more professional or courteous. Also, they're not trying to nickel and dime or sell services you don't really need. They will continue to have my business. Thank you for the recommendation. Another reason why I have lauded Shaw Bills for years, because they really do treat you like family. They're a great business, and I'm happy to endorse them. All right, it's after further review. One thing that happened on Friday, real quick, and we're talking some Saints after the top of the hour. One thing that happened on Friday, if you missed it, San Diego State informed the Mountain West that it wants to stay in the league. There's a reason this is relevant. We don't talk a lot of San Diego State Aztec football here on After Further Review. But the reason this is relevant is because I think most of you, by nature of the fact that you're listening to the show, care about college football. Okay. San Diego State had done this flirtation with the Pac-12. Pac-12, you know by now. Pac-12 lost USC and UCLA to the Big Ten, where they will start in 2024. Well, Pac-12 is looking around going, okay, who can we get? So part of that conversation had been the flirtation with San Diego State. Well, in San Diego State, I'm with you, but San Diego State just made a Final Four in basketball, went to the championship game in basketball. They just built a $300 million on-campus stadium. They've won at least 10 games 5 times since 2015 in football. So they've had some success. And if you're looking to rebuild your conference, you have to go somewhere, okay? So this was going to be interesting. Well, all the while, the Pac-12 has been trying to negotiate a new television deal. They were not able to get that done as of Friday, and that was a deadline for San Diego State to let the Mountain West know if they're staying or going. Well, ultimately, because there wasn't a new TV deal done, there was no invitation from the Pac-12 to join, so San Diego State is staying in the Mountain West. This is huge. This signals huge trouble for the Pac-10, Pac-12 of 10 now. 12, you get it. They don't have a TV deal because no TV network wants to sign them because they're not sure if Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, Colorado are staying or are they going. Like, it's a giant problem for the Pac-12, and ultimately I think what we are going to see is those 4 schools I just mentioned go to the Big 12. I think we're going to see Oregon and Washington go to the Big 10, and the Pac-12 is going to dissolve. I think we are headed for that eventuality, and this is a real indicator of it. When San Diego State was like, yeah, we're going to stick around the Mountain West because that's more stable. That's a huge problem for the Pac-12. Those days are numbered. Okay, Sports Center. Then we'll talk some Saints right after the top of the hour. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. I was at South Point on Saturday. Was talking to Brad over there, and he said they have a full lot, their full inventory of 2024 Atlases and Cross Sports are on the way. They should have them within 30 days. Oh my goodness. If you go to the website, southpointvw.com, you'll see on the flipper that they have inventory on the way. And you can go reserve your vehicle before it even gets here. So if you don't even wait for it to show up, go reserve that vehicle today at southpointvw.com. For all of our friends in Lafayette, Southwest Volkswagen, same great ownership group. They're servicing the 337. Southwest Volkswagen, you can check them out there as well. Whether it's the Atlas, the Crossport, the ID4, the Taos, which is the fun-sized SUV, they've got you covered over at South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. NBA News from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Timberwolves franchise cornerstone Anthony Edwards gets his max deal. He agreed to a 5-year designated rookie max extension, could be worth up to $260 million. Trailblazers keeping their options open when it comes to trade destinations for Damian Lillard. Now that their star guard has made his official trade request, Portland will try to find the best deal it can in a combination of young players, draft picks, salary cap relief for a player of Lillard's magnitude. All indications are Dame wants to go to the Heat. A better option would be the 76ers, believes ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
You give Joel Embiid a weapon against Jokic, an incredible playmaker who's perfectly set to play with him, like Dave Lillard. That is it's the guts of what championship teams are made of. Plus, if you're Philadelphia, you don't want Lillard going to Miami. Miami has already won the conference.
Brian Windhorst on First Take. Today's Wimbledon winners include Novak Djokovic as he begins his pursuit of a 24th Grand Slam title.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man.
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. By the way, our friend, Mr. Toby Tomplay, he of Tomplay Fireworks. If you're going to be, yes. Are you new to this? Do you not recall from last year?
No, I remember. I was saying, oh, that's right.
I dropped my pen. Hold on.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Got to always be safe with those fireworks, though.
I got my pen. I was actually interviewing. So this is a random tangential aside. I'm hosting a podcast series for Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, where I'm interviewing all of their doctors. So all the subspecialties, and anyway. Last week, interviewed Dr. Rick Ahmed, who's a hand specialist. Fantastic guy, really fascinating conversation. But we were talking about fireworks, and he said he sees so many injuries, you would think. He said, but actually, obviously with fireworks, but 4th of July isn't nearly as bad as New Year's. And the reason makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Number one, when do you pop fireworks at New Year's?
Midnight.
And what do you do leading up to midnight?
Drink.
Oh, yes. So you drink heavily, and you stay up, you wait till midnight, and then you do stupid things. 4th of July, it's more like family friendly. It's dusk, it's, family.
After the barbecue.
Yeah. So right. It's just a different, it made a lot of sense. But even still, be safe with fireworks. And if you're going to buy fireworks, go see our friends over at, go see Toby.
Yeah.
Go see Toby and Shelly.
He'll probably sing the jingle for you.
He 100% will.
There you go.
If you ask him to, he will. So they're on Highway 42. So if you're in Baton Rouge, Prairieville, you turn onto 42, and like maybe a quarter mile on the right, they have a big, giant, inflatable gorilla. You can't miss it. It's like a 20-foot gorilla.
That's awesome.
10-foot, yeah, you can't miss it. Like, seriously. Turn off an airline onto 42, go about a quarter mile on the right, you can't miss. Ask Toby to sing the AFR theme and record it and send it to me. That would be great. All right. We have spent a lot of time this offseason talking about the Saints and their projections. You know my feeling on them. I think with Derek Carr, he was the best option for them in 2023. I don't think he's a great option long-term because I don't think he's capable of winning a championship. I think his best days are behind him. Stunningly, last week, if you missed it, Chad Johnson, a.k.a. Chad Ochocinco, made a very bold projection for Derek Carr in 2023 where he essentially projected him to be top 5 in every statistical category this season, which would be a stunning turnaround. If Carr, it would basically be a career year for Derek Carr with those projections. We'll see if that happens. I don't believe it will, but we'll see. But as you get to this point where now free agency is behind us, draft is behind us, you've had mini camps and OTAs, and you've had roster cuts and changes and turnovers, and like generally you know now what you were going into camp. And so it's fair at this point to now start to look at an offseason in total. Now, you can't really grade an offseason without the result of how it went. It's all still just speculative. So this might actually be a topic that's better suited for feigned indignance from sports talk radio guy of a random summertime list than it is actually evaluating it. But I'm just sharing this with you for the sake of evaluating another opinion, an objective opinion about the Saints offseason. I won't spoil it, but over the course of 2 days, in 2 different parts, CBS Sports ranked every NFL team's offseason from draft and free agency and salary cap and all that sort of stuff, 1 to 32. I'm not going to bury the lead. Miami Dolphins, they said, had the number 1 offseason of any NFL team, any team in the NFL as they position themselves to compete for a Super Bowl. The New Orleans Saints, they rank 27th out of 32. They did not like what the Saints did in this offseason. CBS Sports, in part, says the Saints signing of Derek Carr to a 4-year, $150 million deal has likely locked them into the NFC South title in 2023. But there's a ceiling here. That's the key part that they mention that I have said since the Saints signed Derek Carr. There's a ceiling. Are you going to win? Is your floor higher? Absolutely. With Derek Carr, your floor is higher, but your ceiling is also lower. They note uncertainty around Michael Thomas, cap issues causing you to lose your entire defensive line. Yes, you drafted Brian Brzee and Isaiah Foskey, but there's no guarantee that they're impact players right away. And spending the money you did on Jamal Williams and drafting Kendre Miller shows lack of confidence and a likely suspension for Alvin Kamara. And for a, as they put it, cap-starved team like New Orleans, that money could have been spent at higher positions of value rather than running back. Okay. And what was interesting is the final line is the Saints roster, it says the Saints roster is stacked up like a house of cards for 2023, but it could come tumbling down in 2024. Okay. I want to be clear about something again. I am good with the house of cards tumbling down in 2024 if you win a championship in 2023. This is what the Saints have been doing for almost a decade now. Almost a decade, this is what they've been doing. They have been full bore to win now because that's what they were trying to do with Drew Brees. What can we do to give us the best chance to win a Super Bowl this year? Not building for it, win it now. And as Brees got older, that became more and more urgent. And now Brees is gone, and they're still doing it. We've been over that. That's not any new talking point. It's something we've all talked about a ton. So if you're the Saints and you're going to continue doing this in this perpetual win now mode, I'm fine with it collapsing next year if you win this year. The problem is they don't win this year. And that's been the perpetual problem now for a decade. Tampa did it with Tom Brady. They won their Super Bowl. Nobody in Tampa's complaining. Tampa is going to stink this year. They have completely fire-sailed the whole thing. Tampa is going to suck. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are relying on some combination of Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask in 2023. They are going to suck. Might be the worst team in the NFL. In fact, they're hoping they're the worst team in the NFL so they can draft Caleb Williams next year or Drake May. But he got himself a ring, didn't he? Sure did. So they're good with it. The Denver Broncos haven't made the playoffs in a decade. They went all in with Peyton Manning. Went to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them. Got himself a ring. The Rams. Matthew Stafford might be cooked. That thing might be done. Sean McVay almost retired. Probably will. They're probably done winning there. But they got their ring. That's what's been elusive for the Saints. So I'm good. If the whole thing comes tumbling down in 2024 and the Saints bottom out, fine. If they get a Super Bowl this year. The problem is I don't think they're going to do that. So I'm okay with that, provided you get the result that you want. They just haven't been able to get that result. Here's the good thing for New Orleans. There is good news. I told you the Saints, they graded as the 27th best offseason. 1-32, Saints were 27. Tampa Bay, who's completely tanking, they had graded as 26th. So Tampa was 26. I mentioned the Saints were 27. And guess who came one spot after the Saints at 27? The Dirty Birds at 28. So the rest of your division stinks too. Had an awful offseason, except for the Carolina Panthers, who they've ranked 11th, having the 11th best offseason this past year. By far the best out of any team in the division, which a lot of you didn't like when I said this, but it's true. I love what Carolina did. I mean, I hate it because it's Carolina, but 10,000-foot view, objectively, black and gold sunglasses on, just what their approach to this offseason. They went and got an offensive-minded coach. They got their franchise. They traded up, got their franchise quarterback. They already started rebuilding their defense a year ago. They've added pieces like DJ Chark, Adam Thielen. They've supplemented on both sides of the ball, and that's a team that, if the rookie quarterback plays well this year, could actually challenge and might win this division. So I hate that Carolina did it, but I get why they're ranked where they are. Again, you're looking at objective outside views, looking at the whole NFL and how this went. So Saints have a lot to prove. They're just going to have to answer a lot of questions to the affirmative. Can Michael Thomas play 17 games? If yes, offense could be really good. Can your offensive line stay intact? If yes, yeah, your offense can be pretty good. Can Brian Brzee and Isaiah Foskey have really good rookie seasons? If yes, maybe the loss of David Onyemata and Shai Tuttle and Kentavious Street, Marcus Davenport, like maybe that Caden Ellis, maybe it's not as impactful. Maybe. Don't know. Chances are some of those will be answered to the affirmative, and some aren't going to go well. So you generally fall somewhere in the middle of those expectations, which is why the Saints are projected to win 9 games. They'll probably win a bad division at 9-8 and get bounced in the first round of playoffs. Or maybe this house of cards holds up and they get into the playoffs and go on a great run with favorable matchups and manage to win it like the Giants did back in 2007 as a wild card team when they beat the 17-0 Patriots, 18-0 Patriots. I would love that. I don't know if I believe it'll happen, though. All right, it's time for further review. We're not going to break. If you missed it, Jay Johnson was here right at the start of the show. We opened the show today with Jay Johnson. I was really glad to have Coach Jay for a couple of minutes. It's some great stuff. When we come back, I want to give you my take on LSU hiring Nate Yeske as the new pitching coach and losing Josh Simpson to Georgia, joining Wes Johnson's staff. So I'll give you some thoughts on that. And Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Florida is committing like $500 million to renovating the swamp. I want to hear about this. So we'll get to that at the bottom of this hour. And Riley Cooper in 45 minutes. Glad you're here. Stick around. Busy Monday. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Terrio and I were supposed to go to Ruckus on Saturday and go get some shoes. He was the one who was like, hey, let's go. I'm like, great, we'll do it. Called him. Hey, you ready? He's like, no, man, we went to Clegg's. I got a whole bunch of mulch, and now I'm in the garden with John and the kids. So, hey, the Terrios are Clegg's fans. The Scones are Clegg's fans. You will be as well. I'm telling you, it's great exercise to get out in the garden, breathe the fresh air, sweat a little bit in this hot summer sun. Make sure you stay hydrated. But it's a great time to get in the garden. Plant some flowers. 4th of July is upon us. You always get some outdoor decor as well at Clegg's Nursery. And remember, the Aeon Mosquito Barrier. They got it. $25. It'll knock out mosquitoes 90 days at a time. Shop it today. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you into Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind. When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Hey, Muse, you got an email.
I did. I heard that.
Heard it. Man, hope y'all had an awesome weekend. We are off for the 4th, so whole lineup is off for the 4th. ESPN plays Major League Baseball all day during the 4th of July. So you'll hear Major League Baseball tomorrow for the 4th, and then we'll be back with our full lineup back in tow on Wednesday, and we'll look forward to seeing all of you here for that. If you weren't here at the start of the show today, Jay Johnson led off the show with us, and appreciate the time. It was a good conversation. We covered a lot of ground, still basking in the afterglow of winning the national championship 7 days ago, but also looking ahead now to how do you do it again. over the weekend, we got two pieces of information, two bits of news from LSU baseball as far as the staff and some things that are coming. So, number one, we knew Wes Johnson was leaving to become the head coach at Georgia. Well, Nate Yeskie replaces Wes Johnson as LSU's pitching coach. And then we also learned that Josh Simpson, LSU's ops guy, is heading with Wes Johnson to Georgia. So Jay has to replace Josh Simpson as well. I got some thoughts on the Yeskie situation, but I asked Jay. You don't have the question in this, do you? So I asked. It's okay. I asked Jay, and Musso and I were looking at this earlier because when the announcement came that LSU was hiring Nate Yeskie, I think a lot of people had the same reaction. Well, he was with Jay for 2 years at Arizona. Why didn't Jay hire him here? So when we were meeting about the show earlier today, and I knew I was going to ask Jay this question, but we were looking up the timelines. And so I was Google searching when Yeskie was hired by A&M, when Schlossnagle got that job 2 years ago, and when LSU announced Jay. And it turns out it was like they were a day apart. The first reports of LSU hiring Jay Johnson, like the leaked reports, came the same day that A&M had announced Yeskie. So it was like, and then LSU announced Jay a day later. So it was like a day apart. And so I asked Jay Johnson when he was with us earlier, like, was it really just a matter of timing where, like, you literally just missed it by, like, had LSU offered you the job a day before, is Nate Yeskie your pitching coach? So here's how he answered it.
Timing was the only thing that screwed it up beforehand. And we were in Omaha. Texas A&M had hired Coach Schlossnagle before LSU had hired me. And so he had reached out to Nate and was talking to Nate, and they were well down the road prior to me being named. And with me, this all happened very fast and very quickly. And it was just, frankly, I was a day too late of being named. Nobody's fault. We were in the College World Series. So I had already known he was going to College Station the day before to meet with him. And so as soon as I was hired or it was announced, I picked up the phone and called him. And frankly, it was too late. And then they had gotten off to a good start at Texas A&M, so it just didn't feel right last year. But, you know, we were probably a day away from him being here from the outset. I'm really happy to have him now.
How about that? Literally a day away from bringing him from Arizona. If you don't know the background of Nate Yeskie, just real quick, that's probably where I should have started. Yeskie was Oregon State's pitching coach for like 11 seasons under Pat Casey. That great team that LSU beat in 2017, Yeskie was their pitching coach. A year later, when Oregon State won the national championship, when they beat Arkansas, when Arkansas dropped the pop-up, Yeskie was their pitching coach. He's a two-time national pitching coach of the year. During his time at Oregon State, he produced 32 draft picks, pitching prospects. Dude's a stud pitching coach. Jay hires him at Arizona. So he's at Oregon State for like 11 years. Jay hires him at Arizona. He's there for 2 years. Of course, they make the College World Series in 2021, and that's when Yeskie gets hired by Texas A&M, and then Jay gets hired at LSU. So then we all know what happened. Jay hires Jason Kelly, and after a year, Jason Kelly leaves for Washington. Well, now a year later, Wes Johnson's left for Georgia, and the door was open, and they revisited the Yeskie thing. Sometimes the most obvious candidate. Sometimes there is an obvious candidate for a job, and there's a reason why a candidate is obvious. Nate Yeskie was obvious. He literally, when Wes Johnson took the LSU job and I started calling around, the first name everybody mentioned was Nate Yeskie. It's like, well, and also you could look at Corey Moscona from Wake Forest, and Robert Woodard from Charlotte was another. And, well, don't be surprised if Jay goes and, shakes down a few trees in pro baseball again. But Yeskie was always the first one, the odds-on favorite, and there was a reason for it. Guy's a stud college pitching coach, and he had worked with Jay at Arizona before, and now we know it was really just a timing thing why he didn't come with Jay from Arizona the first time. So, like, you've got a real dude there. And the other thing, too, that was super surprising, did you see Jim Schlossnagle's statement about Yeskie leaving? First of all, when a coach leaves for another job, you typically don't get the current place releasing a statement like thanking them for everything they did. Generally, it's when someone gets fired that you're like, we thank you for all you're doing. We're moving in a different direction. Jim Schlossnagle released a statement that said, I would like to thank Nate Yeskie for his time and service at Texas A&M. Texas A&M is bigger than any one person, and I look forward to hiring an elite pitching coach to join our great staff in Aggie Land in the very near future. Texas A&M is bigger than any one person? Oh, he's pissed. He is pissed. I don't know the backstory there. I don't know if maybe they had conversations about him. So whatever. The only reason Jim Schlossnagle released that statement is sheer vanity. He is pissed about that. And that was a shot at Yeskie for leaving after 2 years to leave in the division. It's not like you got a promotion. It's not like you're leaving Texas San Antonio for LSU. In that instance, when Billy Napier left ULL for Florida, everyone got it. Huge promotion. And all of the Cajun, like all of their social media, everything was Billy Napier, thanks for all you did. And it was deserved, but everyone understood why you would leave ULL for Florida. When Nick Saban left LSU for the Miami Dolphins, you get it. He's leaving to go to the NFL. You get it. This is leaving within your division to the team that just won the Natty. Oh, Schlossnagle's pissed. You bet, like, that drips. And they were in Omaha a year ago. A&M was in Omaha a year ago. Schloss brought him from Arizona. Oh, man. So, don't let my screaming miss the point. The point is, you're LSU. You just won a Natty. You've got all the clout in the world, all the resources you could ever want. Not only did you just hire a great pitching coach, but you weakened a division rival as well. Thank you. Oh, but don't miss the point, too. Jay said, like, he would have done it a year ago when Jason Kelly left, but he's like, it's only been a year. That wouldn't feel like the right thing to do. Jay could have been cold-blooded and done it a year ago. But it's like, look, they just came off of Omaha. They're like, I didn't want to disrupt things. What? Could have done it a year ago. The other bit of news from this weekend was Wes Johnson is taking Josh Simpson with him. And Jay clarified this, and I asked the question, but he clarified. Look, this is a promotion for Josh Simpson from an off-field role to one of the 3 on-field assistants. So he said he's Wes's number 2 assistant at Georgia. So for those that don't know Josh Simpson's backstory, just real quick, he came to LSU. He'd spent 7 years as a scout in the Rangers organization. Prior to that, he had been a JUCO head coach, like I think in New Mexico or Oklahoma. He coached a bunch of different places, but was a head coach for a long time. Anyway, when he came to LSU, obviously he was in an off-field role. Now he's going to get an opportunity to be an on-field coach at Georgia. He'll get a raise. He'll still be recruiting and scouting and all that stuff as a recruiting coordinator, but he'll be on-field as well. So he'll get to coach ball as well, not just be a behind-the-scenes guy. So that it is a promotion. It's a career advancement. You understand why. Now, I will say, I love the idea of having a scout in on your staff. And Jay also told us, that's another one I need you to get, Moose. I'm sorry. Because at the end of that cut about Josh Simpson, Jay also said they're creating a new position as well. Now, he alluded to they'll be making, I don't know when, but they'll make an announcement soon, but they're creating a position. Having a scout on your staff is so smart. Because think about it. A big league scout, and I'm fortunate to know a lot of them, they live their lives in their cars, driving all over their territory to high school ball fields, to showcase events, to college games. They know every prospect. They know all of them. They know the prospects. They know the coaches. They know the hotbeds. They know what events to go to. Like, they know it all. So having a scout with that kind of experience on staff to build bridges, to relationships with players and coaches, and then also just to be able to look at a guy and say, look, what about projectability for this guy? Hey, is this guy a signing risk? How much would you offer this guy out of high school signability type stuff? Could we get him here? Is he a guy that you look and you see a great arm from an infielder? You can say, oh, but that could be a pitching prospect because he's got the arm talent. there's a lot of real benefits to having a scout on staff. So Josh Simpson leaving to go to Georgia hurts in that respect, but I would be really surprised if Jay didn't fill that spot with someone with a scouting background. It just makes too much sense to do it. So we'll see. Look, if Jay ever not that at LSU you wouldn't have every bit of resource that you'd ever need, but clearly now you're coming off a win in Natty in year 2. You could ask for whatever you want and probably get it. So anyway, a couple of baseball staff moves. Nate Yeske, new pitching coach. Josh Simpson leaving to join Wes Johnson's staff at Georgia. But that is certainly a career upgrade for him. All right, I'm a little bit late. Our buddy Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel is set to join us. I want to talk a little bit about the Swamp. They're apparently injecting $500 million to rebuild the Swamp. We'll talk about that next at AFR.
AFR.
4th of July is upon us. Make sure you get all your goodies over at Rouse's. Grilling dogs tomorrow, dogs and buns, get them at Rouse's. Grilling burgers tomorrow, get them at Rouse's. You need all your condiments, get them at Rouse's. You want something sweet for everybody to enjoy, they got it all at Rouse's. You want some beverages for the adults or for the kids, your cold beer, any of your wine, your liquor selection, they got it. You want your Capri Suns or your Delaware Punch or whatever it is that you used to sip on or that the kiddos sip on out around the pool on the 4th of July, get it at Rouse's. With 60 Rouse's locations, there's one near you. You can find the locations near you, but you know where Rouse's is. Download the app. Download the Rouse's app. Remember, if you don't have time, your personal shopper, they got curbside to go and delivery options. So pick out your items on the app, pull up, personal shopper will get your items, bring it out to the car for you. It's at Rouse's. Download the Rouse's app and go see our friends at Rouse's. This feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special, grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
after further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Word out of Gainesville is that Florida's about to invest nearly $500 million into renovating the swamp. I wanted to get some info. Edgar Thompson's our buddy from the Orlando Sentinel. He's on Twitter at OS Gators. Give him a follow. Edgar, always appreciate it, man. How are you?
Can anybody follow anybody on Twitter anymore? I don't even know what's happening on Twitter. I'm totally confused on Twitter. I'm doing okay other than that.
Well, I'm following you still, and my tweets haven't been blocked or I haven't been kicked off the platform, so we're still good as of right now.
Good.
Hey,
well, they're limiting it, so I'm confused when they're like flowing into my timeline. But I'll get up to speed on that. Everything's good, man. Thanks for having me as always.
No,
Appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. I'm sure we'll get to see you here in 2 weeks from today, man. We'll be at Media Days up in Nashville. So it's almost upon us. But I saw the story today, and I found it pretty fascinating. So can you just start with giving us the Cliffs Notes version? Like, what is happening there in Gainesville with the stadium?
Well, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, better known as the Swamp these days, is undergoing a massive and just necessary makeover. Now, the stadium has seen better days, and Tiger Stadium, for example, I remember, 14-ish or so, 13, 14, 15 range, redid a bunch of things because Tiger Stadium, I used to cover games back there before those renovations, and I'm telling you, man, it was pretty dated.
Yeah.
And now it's one of the nicest facilities there is. And the Gators are trying to make that next step into modernizing that facility because it's still one of the best environments in college football, along with like Tiger Stadium and some others. I mean, there are not many like them. And the problem is you're shoving people, packing into bleachers. There's not a lot of room on the concourses. The restrooms are really old. The concessions areas are overrun. The point of sales, there are just not enough of them. And they're going to just tear it all up and rebuild the thing. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it, what the phases are going to be, the timetable, the cost right now. They're saying $400 million. I mean, that's so conservative. It's ridiculous. It probably end up being double that, I'm guessing, in the end. I was hearing 500 minimum and upwards of 8.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's just going to be a massive facelift, for an aging facility that's an iconic one and still provides a great service. But they're going to probably reduce some capacity. It's 88,000 plus. I guess it's going to be more like 75. It's going to be a better seat, a more expensive seat, probably, for sure. Better luxury options and things like that. But I think one of the things Scott Strickland does want is you could basically walk the entire, would it be circumference of the stadium, like of the whole concourse, and never not see the field or feel like you're at a game, which is not the case now. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it unfolds and when it unfolds. I mean, it's just the first step here. They're just putting out feelers for architectural firms at this point. So no groundbreaking or anything is going to happen for a good while.
Okay. Listening to you talk, is this expected to be like a full gut renovation? Meaning like when we look at, like the interior picture of the Swamp, is it going to look completely different? Like if you're standing on the field or looking at an aerial shot?
Well, I hope not, because we did our podcast, or Mark Long and I with AP. We do a podcast, and I was telling them a little bit of history because I did a story back when I was at the Palm Beach Post back, years ago. And it was interesting that Florida Field was built in 1930. I didn't realize that it's like the eight stadiums of the 14 SEC schools were built earlier. Davis Wade Stadium is the oldest one in the league, 1914. I had no idea. So that was kind of interesting. We'll walk down, memory lane. But so Florida Field built 1930, and it wasn't built around a track. So many of these stadiums were built around track because track and field was a bigger sport than college football back then. It was a growing sport. College football did not grab the American consciousness for, probably a couple of more decades even. Baseball, boxing, horse racing, track and field, those were bigger sports. Not now. But so they're right up on the edge of the field, the stands, versus some of these stadiums you feel like there are the fields out there. You've been to the Swamp. It is right there.
Yeah.
And then they've added 5 times over the years to increase capacity. It was 22,000 in 1930. Now it's 88. But as they did it, they enclosed it more. The stands are all very vertical. So you get this great acoustic effect and this kind of like, the fans are on top of the field kind of deal. And so they do not want to remove that kind of mystique and that home field advantage the Swamp has. So they're going to look at several, renderings and talk to a lot of people, and it's going to be a highly coveted job. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of debate, discussion, tweaks, and things like that. But they don't want to lose the spirit of the Swamp. You just don't want to do that.
Edgar Thompson is our guest. You also mentioned capacity. That's one of the interesting things as well, because the release said that they're expecting to lower capacity by thousands. So how significant of a capacity reduction are we talking, and how and why does that come about?
Well, I said at the beginning 88-ish now, and they can even get up into the 91, almost 2 range. I'm guessing they push it down around 75 to 80. Mark is even saying maybe 70 with the ability to add 10,000, seats. I don't know how all that works. We didn't get into that too deeply, but I guess maybe the Jags, which he also covers, they're doing a whole stadium thing now. So he's dealing with all that and kind of how they're thinking of doing it. For certain games, they'll be able to have more people than other games. Whatever the case is, it's going to be fewer. It's going to go over like a Led Zeppelin with some fans, I'm sure, because prices are going to go up. Seats are going to be lost. There's going to be some season ticket holders that maybe don't have a place. I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe I'm wrong there. They haven't. It's not like they're selling, 88,000 season tickets. Trust me. And students are going to lose some seats, I would think. Students, when I came back to Gainesville in 2012, had 21,500 seats designated. Now it's down to 17,000. And I would not be surprised if it was down to 15 or even lower for students, because they just don't come as consistently, and their tickets are quite cheap. So inexpensive. I just don't know, man. So many things that are uncertain. But what we do know is that this is going to be the culmination or climax of a lot of facility upgrades that have happened for about 10 years now. The indoor practice facility in 15, which took a long time to get one of those here. The academic center a year later. They just recently opened the Heavener football standalone complex, $86 million facility that's state-of-the-art, beautiful thing. They've redone softball. They built a Florida Condren Ballpark, Florida baseball stadium, $65 million. Fantastic environment. I really enjoyed the super regionals there this year. It's becoming a bit of a happening over there finally in baseball, which was a big goal of Scott Strickland. And there are others. They've really done a lot, but this is the one everyone's been waiting for. This is the one that's going to have the most impact, and we're all waiting to see. I hope I'm still writing sports by then, because it's going to take some years here.
Edgar Thompson, well, I'm sure this is part of a conversation that'll continue on in a couple of weeks at Media Days, and as it sounds, likely for several years with the fundraising, planning, and execution of it. But the first of what could be many around the Southeastern Conference of aging facilities getting that very, very expensive facelift. Edgar Thompson, you can follow him on Twitter if you're still allowed at OS Gators. We appreciate it, man. Thanks as always.
You can follow me. I just don't know how the Twitter's working now with the verifications and all this.
Well, I got you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks as well, man. We appreciate it as always.
All right, man. Yeah, hey, thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel talking Gators. That it is interesting because I think what Florida is doing, you have to check your ego, your collective ego as an athletic administration, because for a long time in college football, the arms race was who can build the biggest stadium, who can get over 100,000 capacity, and that was the flex. But nobody puts 100,000 people in seats anymore. People don't want to pay. I'm not telling you something you don't know. People don't want to sit at the top of a stadium and high-five St. Peter and pay to park and walk and stand in line to use the bathroom when you just watch it at home. You got to improve the experience in stadium. And that's what Florida's going to do. They're going to retract seats. They're going to widen concourses. They're going to less bleachers, more chairbacks, more point-of-sale options so you're not standing in line for concessions forever. Like, you just have to be willing to say, we don't need to be 100,000 seats. What we need is the bottom line. And Florida don't have it right now. You want to know why Florida fought so much? This blows people's mind, but you heard Edgar say it. Students don't go to the games. Like, one of the reasons Florida was always in favor of keeping LSU is they knew every other year they were going to sell out that game, which they don't do very much there. As odd as that is for the tradition they have, that is part of the reality associated with Florida football. People just don't come. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back and Muse will do Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2. Riley Cooper, national champion Riley Cooper in 15 minutes. Stay here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 beautiful hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. And when it comes to hosting your event, both the Watermark and the Renaissance are perfect. The Watermark is a gorgeous, elegant spot in downtown Baton Rouge. That wedding reception, that smaller gathering, that meeting space, they can do it. They've kept so much of the history and tradition of that iconic building while modernizing it. The Gregory is a great restaurant inside of the Watermark as well. And then, of course, the Renaissance Hotel, Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. It's more modern. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous hotel property at the Renaissance Hotel where they have meeting space that can accommodate up to 500 people, 7,000 square foot of meeting space, perfectly located right off of Bluebonnet and I-10. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels in Baton Rouge.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch, Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
All right, rolling along. Let's wrap up hour number 2. Muso has Tigers in the Pro.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, a lot of Major League Baseball to get to today, but we'll start off with Kevin Gausman being named a Major League All-Star for the second time in his career. Of course, the first All-Star honor for Gausman came in 2021 when he was a member of the Giants. Now, in 2023, a member of the Blue Jays. Gausman has an ERA just north of 3 at 3.04 and is leading the American League in strikeouts with 146. Hey. So, kind of felt like a formality, but nonetheless, great honor for Kevin Gausman, an All-Star for the second time in his career. To the minor leagues we go for some baseball now, and we'll start with Todd Peterson. Todd Peterson got his first hold of the season last night. 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 run. Did walk a couple guys, but escaped it, and that's hold number 1 for Todd Peterson.
Kendall was with us last week and dropped several Todd Petersons. Unfortunately,
oh no, poor Alondra.
Alondra was not indoctrinated.
Oh no.
I know.
So wait, did it happen once and she missed it, and then Kendall just kept dropping Todd Peterson after Todd Peterson?
I had to explain. You had another one.
Todd Peterson.
I had to explain it to her and to him why it wasn't going to happen. So, and he tried to drop it again. I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, she doesn't even have the button over there. Like, there's no way to.
Yeah. That's disappointing.
Making up for lost time.
Yeah. Hold number 1 last night for Todd Peterson.
Todd Peterson.
Cade Doty, 1 for 4 in the Vancouver Canadians' loss last night. The one was a double, his 13th of the season. Did drive in a run, and he would come around to score as well. Also drew a walk. Pretty solid year for Cade Doty so far there. How about this? Andrew Stevenson yesterday went 1 for 5 in the St. Paul Saints victory in the game. The one came in the second inning, and it sounded like this.
The base is loaded. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. High fly ball down the right field line. Wall goes back. It is gone. Grand slam by Andrew Stevenson.
It was Stevenson's 3rd career grand slam. It was his 8th home run of the season, and RBI total now stands at 34 for the former Tiger left fielder. Hey, speaking of Kendall Rogers, you remember that time he was on and told us about a bet he had with a guy regarding Hunter Fiducia making it to the major leagues? Well, Kendall Rogers did that. Okay. He has a bet that if he owes some guy something if Hunter Fiducia makes it to the major leagues. And Hunter's in AAA, and he was tearing it up. Then he went in the doldrums. His batting average is around 246 on June 8th. He now has a hit in 11 of his last 12, multiple hits in 8 of those 11. He's back up to 310, and last night did this.
Solis kicks and delivers.
And this one's hit in the air to deep center field. Hamilton going back. Hamilton watches this one go up and over for a home run. Hunter Fiducia. Solo shot into center field, his 7th home run of the season.
And the crowd goes wild.
Well, I should clarify, that was the Sugarland Space Cowboys broadcast that we took that audio from, not the Oklahoma City Dodgers. So they were down 5-0 at that point. Home run 7 for Fiducia, 1 for 5 last night. Now at 310, riding a hot streak. Finally, Terrace Marshall said he's looking forward to a great year. I don't have enough time. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. Thank you. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, it's where Baton Rouge and all of Louisiana has gone engaged for more than 30 years. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, Riley Cooper coming up right after SportsCenter. What are his plans with the draft just 6 days away? Riley Cooper joins us next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Closed today and tomorrow for the 4th of July, but they'll reopen on Wednesday, and boy, when they reopen, you will have great July specials staring you straight in the face, including PRP for hair restoration, and as always, I encourage you, man, woman, young, old, get that blood test. Get that blood work done. Let them do your lab work. They'll take a look at your body's composition. Where are you deficient? As we age, our body stops producing hormones that contribute to how we feel. You ever feel like, man, I'm sluggish when I wake up. I don't sleep as well at night. I struggle with motivation to get in the gym. It's harder to burn muscle, build fat. That's all part of aging. They can supplement you safely and affordably to get you feeling like your younger self. Learn more online at theantiagingclinics.com.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special. Grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. Months after a woman came forward, which led to the arrest of a Baton Rouge police officer, another woman also coming forward alleging something similar happened to her. Instead of getting arrested, he forced the women to engage in sex acts. Tonight, the new allegations are spelled out in a lawsuit filed in federal court. Hear what she has to say. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta
best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Developing story from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Timberwolves franchise cornerstone Anthony Edwards agreed to a 5-year designated rookie max deal. Could be worth up to $260 million. When it comes to Damian Lillard's trade request, Trailblazers have made it clear they are open for business everywhere in the NBA, according to Woj. They'll work to find the best deal they can, a combo of young players, draft picks, salary cap relief in exchange for a star like Lillard, who reportedly prefers to go to Miami. Two-time NBA champion Norris Cole.
If he was to land in Miami with Jimmy Butler's leadership, I think he could bring some relief to Jimmy and for Bam with some shot creation. You know, they run a lot of dribble handoffs because they don't really have anybody that can, get downhill and create a trigger without a pick. And Damian Lillard can definitely do that.
Norris Cole on ESPN Radio in the morning. 2 PGA Tour officials have agreed to testify before a U.S. Senate panel next week about the union with Saudi-backed Live Golf, but Live officials have declined to appear, according to lawmakers. Novak Djokovic chasing a 24th Grand Slam title among today's first-round winners at Wimbledon.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Make sure your family is well taken care of with life insurance. Protect your phones, laptops, and more with electronic device insurance. And cover your furry friends with pet health insurance.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Or if you had the day off, good for you. You're way smarter. You took a 4-day weekend, unlike us who all decided we're going to work Monday, take off tomorrow, and then come back. But nonetheless, it's a lot of fun. We had Jay Johnson on with us to start the show today. If you missed that, check it out on demand. And very pleased to be joined by one of Coach Jay's pitchers, a guy who was such a key cog in Omaha and all season, Riley Cooper, joining us now. How are you, man?
Good.
Hey, man, we appreciate a couple of minutes. It's a week removed from winning it all, man. Has it sunk in at all yet?
Yeah, a little bit.
When did it really start to feel like was there a moment, was there a time where you felt like it's real?
Probably just the last game in the 9th inning when we had quite a big lead. Just needed 3 outs. Yeah, we were all pretty excited in the dugout.
Man, whenever this path and the path through the losers bracket as it paved for you all in Omaha was playing out, you got 3 saves, a win, and pitched a 5th time in the College World Series. Well, if I had a vote, you would have been, for me, like if I was there covering it, I would have voted for you for the most valuable player of the College World Series. When you all started, did Coach Jay, did Wes tell you like that was going to be a plan, like you were going to pitch as much as you did?
Yeah, Jay tells me all the time that I'm going to pitch in every game, so I was definitely ready for that, and especially there's no time to be sore in Omaha, so I was prepared for that.
Are you ever sore?
Oh yeah, I'm always sore. I'm good at pitching through it.
Okay, because look, I mean, I posted a clip and it was you in the post game after one of the games. Hell, y'all played so many. It was like 8 and 10 days. But when you just said like, oh, you sleep and you drink water, and that's how you get ready to roll. I mean, and people thought it was hilarious. But I mean, is it really that simple? Is that all you do, or is there more you do to make your arm ready to roll the next day?
No, I actually think I do the least for recovering out of all college baseball pitchers. I legit just drink water and sleep. I wasn't lying. That's legit what I do.
Has it always been like that for you, and you're just able to wake up and go to the yard and feel good?
Yeah, I think so. I think, my size has a little bit to do with it, But I just been able to pitch.
Man, it was remarkable. I mean, to see what the team did. We've also heard Coach Jay talk about, after the first loss to Wake Forest, putting the plan together of what the pitching plan was. And it sounds great. Did you all really believe, okay, this is going to work exactly how he laid it out, internally?
Me personally, not really. I knew something would change, and it was always this could be the last game, but
yeah.
Let's go out there. But yeah, it worked out good.
When did you really start to feel was there a game where you're like, oh my God, we got this? Maybe was it the first win against Wake Forest where you're like, man, we got Paul on the bump tomorrow. We're going to do this.
Yeah, it was definitely that, because that was the day where we just strung a bunch of people together to get through that game. And if we won that, then I knew we had it, because with Paul and all the other guys were able to pitch that day.
Yeah, man. Riley Cooper is our guest. It was such an incredible run. By the way, where were you on the dog pile?
I was on the outside. I wasn't trying to get in the bottom.
Isn't it wild though that I was thinking about this? Gavin weighs $160, and he ended up on the bottom of 5,000 pounds of mass.
Yeah. I saw me and then Grant Taylor on top too, and he's a big guy, so that definitely didn't feel good for the Guidries down there and stuff.
Hey, look, you get to celebrate a natty, which is incredible. When Jay was recruiting you here from Arizona, did you? It's fair. It's not for everybody to say that's the goal, but did you think that this was going to be realistic within 2 years?
It's always a thing we talk about, but to actually do it was kind of crazy. It was almost only a dream type thing. But once I got here and saw people we have and were able to do, then it was definitely kind of more of a reality.
Yeah. Hey, and look, now obviously Wes Johnson is going to Georgia, and LSU's announced Nate Yeske as the new pitching coach. He was with you in Arizona, you and Bryce Collins. So, tell us a little bit about him. We're all going to get to know him for the first time.
Yeah, he's just a great guy for the job, good pitching coach, and what he was able to do with A&M and their lefties is really good for, me and the other lefties. So I think it's a really good choice for our pitching coach.
Draft is coming up this weekend. You're a junior, obviously draft eligible. How much thought have you given what's going to, what your circumstance and what your options are going to be?
Yeah, that's definitely the goal, is to sign and get drafted. So that's what I'm hoping to happen. But if not, to come back and be a Tiger.
Is it a thing where
another?
Yeah. No, is it a thing where it's just, do you get drafted, you go, or is there a number? I know guys always have a number in mind. I'm not going to ask you to disclose that, but are there those is there that context in there?
Yeah, there's definitely just decisions to be made, but I still need to talk to my family about that, and just best decision. But the goal is to get drafted, and I really want to start my pro career.
You're back home. You're in California now, right?
Yeah, I'm in California.
What you've lived in three Fresno, right? You're in Fresno?
Yeah, Fresno.
So Fresno, and then Tucson and Baton Rouge. That's three pretty culturally different places, man. What was it like? What was Baton Rouge like for you based on what your expectation was and what it actually turned out to be the last 2 years?
I actually expected way more just because, the South and all that. And it was just, I don't know, it was really nice. I like Baton Rouge, and the people are super nice, and, the fans are crazy. So, yeah, it definitely lived up to expectations with that part with the fans.
Man, before you go, craziest person that you've, since you all won it, heard from, got a tweet, a DM, saw someone talking about you, what? So there has to have been something like that where you're a star power type deal like that.
On the plane ride, it was pretty cool. One of our coaches was on FaceTime with Bregman. Yeah, he was talking to us and was really excited. So that was really cool to see him.
Yeah, man. One of the all-time greats. And, man, you I don't know if you realize this yet, man, but, like, your life changed forever winning that championship because for as long as people follow LSU baseball, they are going to mention Riley Cooper and pitching 5 times in the College World Series, and idiots like me are going to be calling you 20 years from now to do radio interviews still because you're always, like, you have changed your life and your trajectory here forever, man. So congrats on it.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely what I've heard.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure. Congrats again. We'll be pulling for you. What's next? If it's either coming back to Baton Rouge or signing and starting your pro career, either way, we'll wish you all the best, man.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, man. That's Riley Cooper joining us here for a couple minutes on AFR. Hey, I want to remind you, this weekend, UFC 290 is back. The UFC's back, which means DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of the UFC, is throwing out an awesome opportunity for you. This weekend, new customers download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, bet just $5, and get $150 in bonus bets instantly, regardless of the result. And everybody, new and existing customers, you can take advantage of DraftKings same fight parlay. So it's easy. You string together multiple bets from the same fight for a shot at an even bigger payout. Make sure you use the promo code Baton Rouge. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Again, new customers, bet just $5 on UFC 290. Get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's only this Saturday, only at the DraftKings Sportsbook app with the promo code Baton Rouge. Be sure to use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/MMA terms. Licensed partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. Okay, it is after further review. Thanks to Riley Cooper. So he said his goal is to sign. He wants to get drafted, hopes to sign. That would be a blow, but I think you also look at the number of left-handed arms that LSU has on the roster for next season already. Like, they've added Justin Lohr, the lefty from Xavier, and man, on top of that, there's decisions to be made, right? Like, Cooper and Ackenhausen are right there, but Griffin Herring's a lefty that's back. Javen Coleman has a decision to make, but you would presume would be back as well. I mentioned Justin Lohr. I mean, you've got options there, but if you have the opportunity to get a guy like Riley Cooper back, who's thrown so many key innings on a big stage, you'd love to have him. But you heard him say it there. I mean, his goal is to get drafted and signed and start his pro career. And sometimes guys are just at that point where it doesn't really necessarily matter where in the draft, what the number is, what the round is. They just want to go start their pro career. And it sounds like that's where Riley Cooper is. My guess is a lefty who can bring it 93, who's as effective at getting outs as he was this year on a big stage. My guess is he'll probably have that opportunity. So might have seen Riley Cooper pitch for the final time in the purple and gold. All right, it's after further review, y'all. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, Brian Kelly gave an interview where he was very candid about what he felt was a realistic timeline to win a national championship for him in this program. We're talking about that next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Of course, at Pluckers, Monday is a great opportunity to get by Pluckers. Maybe you have the day off. You certainly have tomorrow off for most of us anyway. So why not go make a night of it tonight over at Pluckers? Either location, every Monday, all-you-can-eat wings. Pay one price. Eat as many wings as you want all night long. So get there early, stay there late, enjoy award-winning jumbo chicken wings, drink some ice-cold draft beer, of course, full-service bar and sports on TV. Right now, you've got, looking at an NBA Summer League going on right now. Fantastic opportunity to watch the hoop. You got Major League Baseball in full swing. Great opportunity to get by, watch your favorite team, no matter who that is. Every game all season long on TV at Pluckers with 2 locations. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Pluckers if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you can run the slalom. And cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clashing, chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like it's Wall Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
2 weeks from today, we'll be in Nashville at SEC Football Media Days. Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers will go first on the opening day at SEC Football Media Days. And the questions asked to start year two will be dramatically different than they were in year one. Year one, there was a lot of, well, quite honestly, there was a lot of people mocking Brian Kelly for saying family. There were people questioning the cultural fit. And the thought about this team was that they might be lucky to get to 500 a year ago. Well, fast forward a year, LSU beats Alabama. They win the SEC West. Jaden Daniels has the second best odds to win the Heisman Trophy, and LSU is a national champion contender, and many are going to pick LSU to win the SEC West, and why wouldn't you? They did it a year ago, and the schedule actually flips in their favor a bit. But before they hit SEC Media Days, Brian Kelly sat down with Blake Topmeyer of USA Today and Gannett News Services. Now, this interview apparently was done in June, but they just published it today. And there's a lot in there that you'll find interesting. Speaking of the family bite, and by the way, it's just a transcript of the interview. The question was, do you actually say family that way? And when did you realize it was going to become a thing? Kelly's response, I do actually say family. family. And I think it's got to be a cross-section of some Boston, Midwestern accent. He says, I'm a mutt, It's kind of the meme. I'm good for getting memes. I don't know. I would have to be really calculating to come up with a Southern accent on my own. That's a good way of putting it. But the thing that you're probably going to find the most interesting in this interview, if you do go read the transcript of it, he was asked about the missing ingredient. He said, if this team is better than last year's, why will it be? What's the missing ingredient? He says depth. And Kelly says, quote, we're still not there yet. You can't take 13 guys from the transfer portal on defense and not have a red flag. This program is still not at the level of depth necessary to withstand injuries and things you're going to have to withstand in the SEC. We need to take 2 or 3 transfers to top off the tank once in a while. So his point is, you can't build around the portal with 13 guys. You need to have your roster and then supplement with 2 or 3 guys from the portal. By the way, I'm not so sure I necessarily completely agree with that. I'm not saying he's wrong, but I think we are all still learning about how the transfer portal era is going to go. And it may be more of that you're not going to have guys that stay and develop over 3 years. If they don't play in a year or two, they leave. And you are going to build your team largely with the portal. And I think that's a very real possibility. But the biggest question that everybody has is when? When can LSU realistically compete for a national championship? Now, we have all had this conversation over the last week, haven't we? If it's with your family members, if it's us here on radio or on Twitter, message boards, coworkers, we've all had the conversation. Man, Kim Mulkey did it in year 2. Jay Johnson did it in year 2. Is Brian Kelly next? Right? We've all heard that conversation. Can Brian Kelly be the next to do it in year 2? Now, the short answer to the question of can he is yes. You've got a 5th-year senior at quarterback. You're returning your top 6 offensive linemen. You have got a bevy of running backs now, including adding Logan Diggs from Notre Dame. You return Mason Taylor at tight end. Look at the talent you've got at receiver with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas and Kyron Lacey and all the Aaron Anderson coming in, Shelton Sampson, a 5-star. You've got tons of talent on offense. That's not even a question. Defense, Mekhi Wingo's back. You're getting Mason Smith back off of injury. You brought in some key transfers like Braden Swimson and Ovia Gofu, Omar Spates in the middle. Did I fail to mention Harold Perkins? Of course, you've got veterans still here like Major Burns and Greg Brooks. You added 4 transfer cornerbacks that are all more talented than the guys you had a year ago. The guys you had a year ago maybe had more experience. A guy like Jarek Bernard-Converse, who had 50 starts in his career. But you got more talent with your corners this year. So point being, can you do it this year? Sure, especially with the schedule rotating in your favor. Auburn, Florida, A&M, they all come to Baton Rouge. Your road games in the league are the Mississippi schools. Yeah, you got to play Alabama on the road. That's tough, and I'm not saying that's going to be easy. But we've gone through it. LSU right now, according to odds makers, is going to be favored in every game except Alabama. So can they? Sure they can. But what does Brian Kelly say? The question was, when do you feel like this program will be ready to contend seriously for a national championship? Again, when do you feel like this program will be ready to contend seriously for a national championship? Brian Kelly's answer, quote, we need another year of recruiting. One more really good year on both sides of the ball, I think, puts us in a position where I think year 3, the consistency piece, the depth of our program, the messaging, all the things we do on a day-to-day basis puts us in position to compete for a championship. Year 2, the foundation is in place. I think there's a really good confidence within the group. We've got good players. There's some holes. There's a little air coming out of the tire here and there. I think we've kind of patched most of it, but I think year 3 is probably the year where I'll feel in terms of building a program we had enough time to really put the pieces together. It's not me saying it. That's Brian Kelly saying it. He needs another year to really feel like he's got the pieces in place to win a national championship. Now, that shouldn't sit well with you, by the way. And that's not to say they're not going to try like hell to win it this year. And it's not to say that they won't have the opportunity to win it this year. I will say this. 2024, there are going to be some real challenges. Namely, you're going to lose 3 offensive linemen. You're going to lose your quarterback. You're going to lose a ton of those running backs. Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Kyron Lacey, likely all gone as well. Mason Smith's going to be off to the NFL. Omar Speights, Ovie Ogofu, those are one-year mercenaries. Greg Brooks will be gone as well. You understand my point? Like, however it goes, you are going to lose a ton of production from this 2023 team. And think about the schedule in 2024. You open up against USC in Vegas. UCLA comes to Baton Rouge as well. So 2 Power 5 non-conference opponents. Yes, you get Bama in Baton Rouge, but you're at Auburn, at Florida, at A&M. I mean, that's going to be a real, legitimate. Oklahoma is going to come to Baton Rouge. Remember, we saw that last week. That is going to be a real, legitimate, and sincere fight in 2024. With that schedule, with all you lose. So maybe those building blocks, pieces, and foundations are in place. But this is actually the team against this schedule that's more primed to make that run. Because this schedule works in your favor. And this roster works in your favor. And it's the same reason why, if you'd ask Kim Mulkey, actually all throughout that season, we'd listen to Kim Mulkey every morning, every Tuesday or Wednesday morning when she was off the bench with Hester and T-Bob. And time and again, what would she say? We haven't won anything yet. Haven't won anything. We've won some games. We haven't won anything. Are we really that good? Don't know. Look at what happened at the end of the season. Why? Alexis Morris, Angel Reese. Other players, don't misunderstand me. It was a team, but your 2 stars are both transfers. Jay Johnson, year 2. Last year, you didn't even host a regional. This year, you win the national championship. A lot of the same players. Great players. Dylan Cruz, Trey Morgan, Jordan Thompson, Gavin Dugas, Cade Beloso, Josh Pearson, Braden Jobert, Hayden Stravinsky, Alex Malazzo. A lot of the same players. What was the difference? Paul Skeens, Thatcher Hurd, Tommy White. Transfers. So, I look at Brian Kelly's team in 2024 and I go, okay, well, where were you deficient a year ago? Well, you were really thin on the defensive line. You had a 3-man rotation to tackle. Did they go address that this offseason? Damn right they did. They added 4 interior defensive linemen out of the portal to supplement behind Mason Smith and Mekhi Wingo and those guys on the interior. You added Ovie Ogofu. You added Braden Swinson. You added guys on the edge. You added a 5th-year senior in Omar Speights in the middle of your defense that probably is going to be a 100-tackle guy. Where you were you had really good numbers on the offensive line, and you went and added Mason Lunsford, another guy who started, basically 2 seasons worth of games during his time in the Big Ten of Maryland. You've accelerated the process because of the transfer portal. So I'm certain in Brian Kelly's mind, he's thinking, really, traditionally, it's year 3. Year 3 is when you've laid the foundation, you've had enough of a recruiting. You had 3 recruiting classes to where it's your roster, it's your players, it's your culture, it's all that stuff. And historically, I completely agree with that. I mean, Les Miles won his championship in year 3 at LSU. And Nick won it in year 4 at LSU. There's a lot of reason to look at that and go, yeah, Nick Saban at Bama, 2009, year 3 was his first one at Bama. So, yeah, there's a lot of reason to look and say it's probably year 3 where you hit that point of scale. But what we don't know, because there isn't enough of a sample size yet, is how much the transfer portal allows you to accelerate that process. We've seen it in one-year one-offs. Look at Sonny Dykes. Sonny Dykes, last year at TCU, played for the national championship his first year at TCU. He inherited a 5-7 football team and went to the national championship game. I mean, Mel Tucker, his first year at Michigan State, used the portal to turn his team into a New Year's Six team. It's possible to do it Brian Kelly did it very quickly. Back-to-back sub-500 seasons at LSU to 10-win season. How? Well, you went and got Jaden Daniels out of the transfer portal. And you went and got Jarek Bernard-Converse and Mekhi Gardner out of the transfer portal. And Joe Fouché and Greg Brooks out of the transfer portal. That's how you did it. And that's how you can do it again this year. And it's why, if more of those questions are answered to the affirmative than the negative, and there aren't many on this team, where he says there's a little air coming out of the tire here and there. Every team's got that. Every team has air coming out of the tire here or there. I mean, Georgia's got to answer those questions, don't they? I mean, the big question about Georgia under Kirby all those years, their defense was really good, but the offense couldn't get on track. Well, they bring in Todd Monken, and they figured it out. Well, now Bennett's gone and Monken's gone. What does that offense look like? I don't know. Is Mike Bobo and Carson Beck the magic elixir? Maybe. Maybe not. It's a question. Look at Alabama. They were so unsettled at quarterback coming out of spring, they had to go get a backup at Notre Dame that they think might be the guy. Maybe, maybe not. Played a handful of 500 games that year, and you wound up winning 3 of them because of Bryce Young. Bryce Young's gone. How's that going to look now? I don't know. Every team's got questions. As Brian Kelly said it, there's a little air coming out of the tire here and there. Every team's got a little air coming out of the tire. Who can patch the hole quickly enough? LSU's in a great position to do it. He's saying year 3, but everybody's standing here shouting, is it Brian Kelly's turn? Yeah. Got history on your side as well. Every 4 years. 03, 07, 2011, you were undefeated, lost in the championship game. 2015, you were number 1 in the first CFP standings, if you remember. You were number 1 of those first standings. Fournette, I mean, they had his name already engraved on the Heisman. And then you went to Tuscaloosa, and he ran for 30 yards, and you wound up losing a couple games down the stretch. And then 2019, 4 years later, 2019, you win the Natty, and now here you are in 2023. I mean, it follows that pattern. And there's a reason Brian Kelly's been able to accelerate it. And yeah, you should have that expectation this year. And the more and more years of the transfer portal we see, the more and more we're going to become accustomed to seeing, or we're going to learn about what is realistic. What are these expectations because of things like NIL and the portal? And he's maximized them over 2 years. So you're right to have that expectation. All right, we'll talk plenty more about that 2 weeks from today at SEC Football Media Days, no doubt. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, with 30 different offices across 11 different states. Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Wishing you and yours a very happy and safe 4th of July. And hey, look, if as this summer rolls along, you're thinking maybe not just about a job, but about a career, think Michelli. Go to Michelli.com. Hit the careers tab right there at the top of the page, and you'll see all the great careers that they have to offer. You can start a career with an innovative company, still primed for growth, in its 76th year of business. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Go to Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com. Remember, if you are a U.S. veteran as well, they've got a veterans career page where they're part of a program with the Department of Defense where whether you're still active duty or if you're already a civilian, they have a skill bridge partner program for our U.S. veterans to get you onto the career in your post-military life. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com. All right, y'all. It is After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on this 3rd of July. Still a lot to get to as we roll through. I do want to let you hear, Paul Skeens was on Sunday Night Baseball and talked about what he'd like to do in his pro career. And Doug Marrone, Saints offensive line coach Doug Marrone, was at a golf event up in New York over the weekend, gave an update on Michael Thomas. We'll get to that when we come back. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Don't you move.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential, think real estate, think Darren James. And I always say buying or selling. Of course, if you're looking to sell your home, call Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. That's agent225.com. My goodness, I was looking at Darren's Facebook over the weekend, and there was this gorgeous, gorgeous home on the Diversion Canal that he was representing the buyer. His client bought this gorgeous property on the Diversion Canal. It's a giant home with this beautiful back balcony over water. Anyway, Darren helped negotiate this purchase for his client. No matter if you're buying or selling, you want to have a realtor working for you, someone who knows the industry, who knows real estate, who knows what to negotiate for. There's nobody better than Darren James. Call him today or text him. It's his cell number, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 7.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Paul Skeens was part of the K-Rod broadcast on Sunday Night Baseball. That was with Michael Kay and Alex Rodriguez. And look, you can imagine. I mean, he's a guy that's projected by everybody either to be the first or the second pick in the draft. He'll either be in Pittsburgh or he'll be in D.C. with the Nationals. And we all know what the expectation is. We've just talked about it a ton as he's had this meteoric rise over the course of this season. And some are calling him the best pitching prospect in the draft in 20 years. So it was a decade. It was Strasburg. And now I've seen it expanded even beyond that to the best pitching prospect in 20 years. I know Ken Rosenthal wrote about that over the weekend. Anyway, Paul Skeens had this to say about being a two-way player at the next level.
Obviously, you're going to be drafted as a pitcher, but you were an outstanding hitter as well. Do you have any Ohtani dreams in your mind? Do you think that you could do something like that and do both?
Absolutely. Obviously, I didn't hit this past year, but I've hit. I was actually a primary hitter coming into college, and then I kind of just started pitching my senior year of high school, and it kind of just blossomed into what it is now. But I mean, I'm 6'7" and I've caught my whole life, so I don't know how that totally works. But yeah, I've hit my whole life, and obviously started pitching the last few years, and I've done both for the past few years, and want to continue to do both as long as I can.
I would be stunned if a team lets him hit. But then you look at Shohei Ohtani and you go, well, if it's the right situation and he's that good, maybe they'll let him. Like, I totally understand why LSU did not let him hit. Completely. Professional pitchers have way more command than college pitchers. And what Paul Skeens meant to LSU was the difference in winning the national championship and not winning the national championship. Like, can we all agree? It is that binary. If LSU does not have Paul Skeens, they do not win the national championship. I think that it's not to say he's the only reason they won it, but without him, they do not win it. So look how many times LSU got hit by pitch. It's almost obnoxious. You are one inside fastball on the elbow. I guess he's right-handed, so it wouldn't matter. But like off the hand, anything. Off the knee, the back, the head. You are one. He's on base. Tommy White. First at-bat of the season, Tommy White singles. Remember what happens? He's diving back into first base. He dislocates his shoulder. I mean, you are that close to not having Paul Skeens this year or for any length of time. So I totally understand why LSU did not let him hit. It was just not worth it. You still hit 200 as a team. Or it's 200. You still had 300 as a team. You had the most home runs in a season since the BB Core era, but since the 97 team. I mean, it's ridiculous. You didn't need Paul Skeens to hit. Now, if there's a team at the next level that drafts him and says, all right, we'll give it a go. Let's just swing it a bit. I could sort of understand it because Paul Skeens isn't going to be the only pitching option they have. But my goodness, I mean, as a hitter at Air Force, he hit 314. I mean, I'm looking at this in his last year at Air Force. He hit 314 with 21 bombs. I mean, okay. You're going to give me 21 bombs. And, no, I'm sorry. There was 21 walks. I'm sorry. He hit, scrolling, my bad, 13 bombs. 314 with 13 homers in 153 at-bats. There may be a team that lets him do it. I mean, Shohei Ohtani may be the gateway that allows a guy like Paul Skeens the opportunity to go hit at the next level. I'm just glad I'm not the one that has to make that decision. But he says he wants to do it. Maybe give him some hacks. Like, it's one of those things where, let's not forget that until a couple of years ago, had Pittsburgh or Washington drafted him, he'd be hitting anyway. Before we went to universal DH, he'd have been hitting anyway. So maybe there is a team that'll let him do it. Maybe Pittsburgh or Washington will let him do it. I mean, you really just have to weigh, is it worth removing your DH to allow Skeens to hit? Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you I know enough about Pittsburgh or Washington to know what their DH situation is, to know if that's worth doing. But it may be on that given day. Or do you let him DH when he's not pitching? Which is a conversation I know they had around LSU this year. I mean, that was the plan, like, as this thing evolved. It was Paul would, on the day, he would pitch on Friday, and then he would DH Saturday, Sunday. And then it was, he's going to pitch Friday. Like, they started to realize what they had. He's going to pitch Friday, he's going to rest Saturday, Sunday, and he'll DH in the midweek. And then it was, if you touch a bat, you're fired. Like, don't even think about grabbing a bat. You're not even taking BP, kid. Go get him some bubble wrap. But that is going to be a very interesting. He wants to do it, and there may be a team that allows him to. Okay. I also got to let you hear this cut from Doug Marrone. Doug Marrone was at a golf tournament this weekend he spoke with 77 WBAC in New York. WBAC in New York. I'll let you that in just a second. Brought to you by Mold Zero USA. Mold-0USA.com. Mold-0USA.com for Mold Zero. Yo, we all know we had that awful hailstorm a couple of weeks ago. Hail, it'll disrupt shingles. When it rains, you get water in the house. We know what happens. So oftentimes, people don't even realize they have water until you start seeing spots on the ceiling. And at that point, you could have had water in your insulation. Maybe you have mold already growing, especially with the combination of water and these temperatures we're dealing with. It's a breeding ground for mold. If you have mold, think you might have mold, maybe it's odors and you're not sure what it is, call Mold Zero. A more cost-effective, safer, less disruptive way for mold remediation work. Mold-0USA.com, mold-zerousa.com. Go to the website. Top of the page, you'll see a 225 and a 504 area code number. But wherever you are in South Louisiana, they'll come to you. Home, office building, churches, schools, locker rooms, training facilities, gyms, workout facilities. Anywhere you have pathogens growing, mold, odor, Mold Zero can help. Mold-0USA.com. Mold-0USA.com. Okay, real quick. Doug Marrone, former Syracuse head coach Doug Marrone, who's now back with the New Orleans Saints as the offensive line coach, was at an event up in New York, and he spoke to 77 WBAC in New York and was asked about Michael Thomas.
We love Michael. Michael's one of the, I have not spent a lot of time with Michael. I knew him when he was getting recruited. When I was at Syracuse, we actually started recruiting him. But we know when he's healthy and he plays, he's a game changer. We saw that last year just in, the couple of games that he played. So, he's working hard to get himself back to where he needs to be.
Working hard, get himself back to where he needs to be. Michael Thomas, I think it is safe to say, is such a key cog in what the Saints offense will be this year. And as we're just a couple of weeks away from the start of camp, there's obviously going to be a lot of eyes on Michael Thomas coming back off of injury, where he's only played in 10 games the last 3 seasons. So what can you get out of Michael Thomas will be a massive question as far as the success of the Saints offense year one with Derek Carr pulling the trigger, throwing the ball to 13. We'll see if he's back on the field. It's a pretty good report there from Doug Marrone. Everybody says the right thing. See if we can get him healthy, get him on the field, and get him producing again. Okay, it's after further review. Final break. We'll wrap up next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Told you last week, had Britt come out to the house from River City's 1 Hour Air, got up in the attic, was checking on the unit. And part of the reason why it's so important to do that standard preventative maintenance is because sometimes they'll find issues that at the time were little issues that could become very big issues. For example, we had a pipe leaking in our attic that was very close to completely becoming detached. And if that had happened, we would have had 10 gallons of water in our attic. As it is, Britt found it, called a plumber, the next day had it fixed. River City's 1 Hour Air. Don't let little problems become very big problems. And if you are having trouble with your AC, remember, nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out and they'll never charge you extra to do so. River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Appreciate Brandon Holly and the gang over at Relief Windows. As always, check them out online at reliefwindows.com, or you can always schedule that, or you don't, just walk-ins welcome at their beautiful showroom on Airline Highway in Prairieville. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, Muse is back after a week-long vacation. Good to have you back, Muse. Like riding a bike over there?
Actually, yeah, it went pretty good today. Pretty well today, I should say. I think.
Good.
I mean, heck, when I'm here, consecutive days, I actually screw up more than I think I did today when I was gone for a whole week.
I'm sorry, what? I wouldn't really listen.
There you go. Oh, so some things never change.
Huh?
Yep. What?
Remember when Joey Chestnut was on AFR?
I do.
That was this was 2021?
November 12th, 2021.
That can't be right.
Yeah, it's right.
Oh, you know what? It was before the Arkansas game here.
Yeah.
And LSU played at Arkansas in 2022. So this was a year and a half ago.
Yeah. I thought it was last year as well.
Yeah. Jaws was in studio, sat right here.
Oh, he did.
He's going to go try to take his crown back tomorrow.
Next to you and Terrio. Terrio was here for that as well.
Oh, God.
It was a Friday.
Yeah. Did it go badly? I don't remember.
He did not know who Ryan was at all. Yeah, but it was just funny because he was talking about being an Oakland A's fans or whatever. Yeah.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
Jaws did talk about his prep, his competition prep. Hit that if you would.
So today I'm eating really light, drinking lots of liquids. And tomorrow I'm going to go in empty and loose. I got some jaw exercises, some burping exercises I do to keep my stomach stretched and loose when I'm not eating anything. Because the muscle, your stomach is surrounded by muscles. If you don't keep it stretched, if you don't eat anything, it's just not going to want to stretch the day of the contest.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure it's ready to go.
So that's what Jaws is doing today, empty and loose. Maybe we get him over to Traction.
Ooh.
I wonder if Traction could train him how to be empty and loose.
Probably.
TractionSports.com. Whether you're a competitive eater, professional football player, preparing for your high school softball season, Traction's got you covered. No Traction baseball camps this week, though. 4th of July week, they're off. Next week, they're back at it, though. Maybe we get Jaws down here. Next time Jaws flies down here, we got to get him over to Traction. Some training montage over there. World-class athlete. Is Joey Jaws Chestnut a world-class athlete?
Absolutely.
Paul, is he a world-class athlete?
I'll say yes.
That's ridiculous, both of you.
That's true. Yes, and he's an American hero.
He's a world-class competitor at what he does, but you do not have to be a great athlete to be a professional eater. You have to be willing to put yourself through ungodly amounts of pain.
And he's an American hero.
He is not an American hero.
He is an American hero.
Good for him for figuring out a way to make a moderate amount of money shoving food into his mouth, and he has a degree of celebrity, certainly. But he is not an American hero.
You're going to tell me that's not the American dream? The man's a hero for doing that.
I have no desire to do that. It's not the American dream because I do not want to do that. Paul, do you want to shove 64 hot dogs and buns into your mouth in a 10-minute span?
No chance.
Yeah, me either. So no. Muse, you want to be able to do that? You want to do that?
I mean, it's not my first choice, but sure.
So it's not the American dream. But he can train for it at Tractionsports.com. Tractionsports.com. Otter took the day off, so there's no Otter Locks. Tomorrow is the 4th, so we will be off for the 4th. We'll be back here on Wednesday. Muse, Paulie, I appreciate it. Thanks to Jay Johnson, Riley Cooper for joining us on the show today. Jay was the very first segment, so if you missed it, check it on demand at 1045ESPN.com, presented by Brecht-Alt. Have a great 4th, y'all. We'll see you on Wednesday.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEYE.com. Call Dr. Blake Williamson. Set up that consultation over at the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. We're moving toward football season. You know what that means. You're going to be sitting in Tiger Stadium. You're going to be sitting in the Dome. You're going to be watching your favorite team, and you're going to be in that 600 level or the 300 level. You can squinting to see the field. Don't do that. Superhuman vision. The Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. I'm 5 years. September will be 5 years for me from LASIK. 5 years. I'm still seeing 2015. That's better than 2020. It is possible. Stop reaching for the glasses. Stop putting the readers on your head or around your neck. Stop holding the menu this far away so you can see it with a flashlight on it. Stop squinting to see the crawl on the TV. Just give yourself the gift of sight. Let Dr. Blake Williamson help. 924-2020 or online at WilliamsonEYE.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance with the latest